What's coming up ahead? And we're on our way to a new beginning. Cause I'm ready for what's coming.
Are you ready for what's coming up? Just like the intro to our song said, welcome to Scrapbooking 101. That's what we are going to be doing today. So I hope you are ready to get all of the information you need to get started with scrapbooking. All right. Well, my name is Noreen Smith, and I am the Product Development Creative Manager at Creative Memories. And it's going to be my pleasure to be with you here for this series of Scrapbooking 101 lessons. And we're going to be doing that on the last Friday of each and every month. So I'm ready to get back to the basics, and I'm just starting to see some comments coming in from people who are joining me. There's Debbie. She says that she is ready to get back to the basics too. Beverly is ready as well. There's Janice saying hi, as well as Victoria. Now, sometimes you might be watching this episode or these episodes, this Scrapbook 101 series on YouTube, and many of you are joining me from there, and you're posting comments in the live chat, which is great. And some of you are going to be watching this on the Creative Memories Virtual Crop Facebook group. And just a note that if you are watching on the Virtual Crop Facebook group, Facebook won't let me see your name. So you might have to actually drop it into the comment as well. So you can say, hi, Noreen, it's Noreen from wherever. Or if you have a question, you can say, hey, Noreen, can you answer this for me? Thanks very much, Debbie. Okay, so just to let you know that on YouTube, my comments that come in, I can see your name. On Facebook, I can't. So tell me who you are and where you're joining me from. Now, I'm seeing a lot of familiar names and faces coming up here. There's Allie from Nova Scotia. Hi, Allie. And Sue's here from Oregon. So I do see some familiar names and faces, but I'm sure there's going to be some brand new scrapbookers here, and you are most welcome. At Creative Memories, we are really passionate about helping you tell your story, helping you preserve your memories, your legacy, and we have a wide network of advisors who are committed to doing the same. So a lot of times you'll see other people joining us here, and they might be Creative Memories advisors. And you'll think, well, why do they need to be watching a beginner scrapbook 101 episode? Well, they want to get additional training, and they want to get additional ideas of how to help those beginner scrapbookers too. So we want to welcome everybody, even advanced scrappers who, might just want to go back to basics, see if there's some new things that they can, look at with a fresh eye. So everyone is welcome, no matter if you have never made a scrapbook or you are a pro scrapbooker, a Creative Memories advisor, and have been doing it for years. So welcome to everybody. So let me just tell you just quickly about myself so you know who I am if we have never met before. I mentioned my name, Noreen. I have been scrapbooking in some form or another my entire life. I spent the good part of my professional career teaching art and design in a large school system here in Calgary, Alberta. And I have been with Creative Memories in some way, shape, or form for the last 22 years. I became a customer and a big fan. I decided to become an advisor so that I could help other people scrapbook. And then most recently, about 6 months ago, I accepted a position with Creative Memories home office so that I can help even more people. So I'm very lucky to be doing what I love, helping people scrapbook, giving them ideas, teaching them about design and techniques. It is a wonderful job, to be sure. So I'm going to be going back to basics, and I'm going to be telling you, we're going to start right with the elements of a scrapbook page today. And then I'm going to be telling you, as we go through this series, everything you need to know. But here is the most important thing that I want you to remember, no matter which episode we're on, no matter what we're doing, there is no wrong way to scrapbook. Okay, did you hear that? No wrong way. Your scrapbooks can be as personal as you are. There is no right way or wrong way to cut and adhere and choose things. It is all based on your personal preference. Okay, so as I go through things here, you might see things that you like, you might see things that you don't like. It is totally up to you what you end up putting in your scrapbooks. Okay, so I want you to remember that. But today we are going to kind of demystify what a scrapbook is. And I'm looking at it through the lens of I've never scrapbooked before. I'm an absolute beginner. What do I need to know to make my very first scrapbook page? Okay, so we're going to look at some of the basic elements, what you'll need, how you might put it together, and we are actually going to make an easy scrapbook page together near the end. Okay? All right, so let me flip you over. You're going to see my face sometimes, and you're going to see my hands sometimes. So I'm going to flip you over to my desktop here, and we're going to talk about what is a scrapbook page. Now, again, you might have sort of thought, well, I'd really like to scrapbook, but I don't know where to start. And every time I look at scrapbooking, I see, I look on Pinterest or I look online, I see these really, really sort of complex designs, and I don't know where to start. So let's talk about that. This is a scrapbook page, okay? But so is this. See the difference? We've got papers and embellishments, and we've got all kinds of great things going. But this is also a very powerful and meaningful scrapbook page. Okay? So let's look at some other examples. This is also a scrapbook page. Sorry, I'm getting them all caught together. All right? So this is also a scrapbook page. And this one looks remarkably like this one, except there's a little bit of, decoration in the back. So I'm going to tell you a secret as we go along. These are both pages that you can put into your albums, and some of them even come pre-designed, just like this one. So you can get plain pages, or you can get kind of pre-decorated pages. So very, very different look, but you can see there's really just the 4 photos, a little bit of embellishments, what we call die cuts or embellishments, and then we've got some writing to tell the story. So those are a couple of different examples of scrapbook pages. So we've got a really sort of decorated one. We've got a couple of more plain ones. Let's talk about some other types of scrapbook pages. Yes, this is a scrapbook page, and let me just get the stuff from behind it away. This is called pocket scrapbooking. So this is a type of page that you can actually just slide your photos into, or slide little cards. Here I've got a card with a photo right on it, and then a little embellishment. So they just slide into these little pockets. So this is a scrapbook page as well. And then you've noticed that all of these ones that I've shared with you so far are all about the same size. These are 12 inches by 12 inches, and that's a pretty common size in the scrapbook industry. So what about some other sizes? Well, this is a scrapbook page too. This is an 8-inch by 8-inch scrapbook page. And all this is really is a sheet of white cardstock, and it's slid into a little pocket. So instead of sliding your photos into some pockets, you're going to slide an entire page into these pockets. It's getting caught on my pineapple there. But so this is a scrapbook page as well. We've got a couple of photos, a little bit of decoration, not much, and then some writing. And I've got one more example to share with you. This is a little paper album, and this is a scrapbook page as well. Now, these are all pre-decorated. This is an older version, and that's one thing you'll find out about scrapbooking is that you'll see things and they might sell out, and then different products will come and replace them. So it's always changing. So we're going to talk about that down the road, is how you adapt to, a variety of different products coming out. But this is a scrapbook page as well. Now, this had a lot of pre-decorated parts on the page itself. I added what we call a border. There's my photos and just one or two little embellishments and the writing. So if all of these are scrapbook pages, what can we sort of take away from what a scrapbook page is? How do we kind of describe then what a scrapbook page is? If all of these are scrapbook pages, what really does it include? Well, really, at its core, a scrapbook page contains photos and writing. Your photos from that you want to remember, photos from events, photos from your life, photos of your family and friends, and then some writing to help document, to help tell the story, to help tell the 5 W's, the who, what, when, where, and why of what's going on in the photos. And although it's really fun and we love adding all of the little embellishments and we love making our photos really sort of look pretty with all of the extra things, at its core, scrapbooking is about your photos and about your stories. And we call the writing on our scrapbook pages journaling. And you'll see on most of our pages some type of journaling. It can just be a little sentence. It could be added to a card. It could be added on top of an embellishment, or it could be written right on a page. So all of these examples really just highlight how wide a variety there is in terms of different types of scrapbooks and scrapbook pages. But what you need to take away from today is that we want to help you get your photos down and tell the stories behind the photos. That's what we're going to focus on. Okay? And we're going to do it easy. I have to say, these 2 pages take exactly the same amount of time to make. I print my photos, I adhere them onto the page, I write just a little bit, and I've added, in this case, I've added 2 little embellishments. In this case, I've added 1. So you're going to find that there are lots of super fast ways that you can get your photos on your pages and make them look great. Now, you may really love that sort of decorative look, or you might be more of a minimalist and you might really love the white pages. And we have other colors of pages too. So before we go on and, kind of make a page together, let's talk quickly about scrapbook albums. We're not going to spend a huge amount of time on it, but I just want to show you some examples of how you're going to take these great pages that you create and where you're going to store them. So Creative Memories is really the leader in scrapbook albums. We have photo-safe archival albums that are going to stand the test of time. And you see there's a beautiful spine there, and then we have what's called a strap hinge system. And that's all I'm going to really say about the albums themselves at this point. There's lots and lots of things we can go over. We'll do that down the road. But I just want to give you an idea of how it would look once your pages actually get sort of inserted into the album. And maybe I'll just show you this one here because it's the plain page. So you might have noticed that there's these 2 little staples on the side of my page, and then it looks like there's some heavier material along the edge. And that's what holds our pages into the strap hinge system. And then it gives it a nice little bit of stability and sort of weight on the edges. And we call this jeeping. So I've got this particular page out of the album, but here's what your album would look like when you have the pages inside. So you can see that it's great because the pages lie nice and flat. It's easy to flip through them. And then we put something on top of these called a page protector. And those come with your pages. And basically it's sort of like a little envelope open on two sides. So you can see there that it's open on two sides and stitched closed together on two sides. And we just slide those little page protectors right over top of the page. Sorry, I'm going to try and keep it in the camera angle there so that you can keep seeing it. But you can see how that's going to protect all of the photos and the little, bits of embellishment or any memorabilia that you have on it. That's going to protect it. And then when your friends and family are flipping through the pages, it's not going to get, fingerprints right on the photos. It's going to help the photos last a long time. So we've got white pages. We've got these pretty speckled pages, which are called Spargo. And when you look at them kind of close up, you see that there's a bit of a texture to them. And then we have what we call natural pages, which are a little bit deeper in kind of that craft brown paper sort of look. We also have black pages. So you can imagine that your photos are going to look great on no matter which color pages you have. These are the photos I'm going to work with in a few minutes. So you might like the look of your photos on black or on natural, or on the Spargo, okay? Or on the white. So you can choose whichever pages you like, and that's a really easy way to get started. Now, you might have remembered that one of the scrapbook pages that I had was just on a piece of paper. I used a piece of our designer paper as a base. And we also have scrapbook pages that slide in, just like the small ones that I showed you. And I'm just looking for, there we go. I thought it was a side loading, but it's the top loading. So this is just going to slide into that big pocket. So this is great if you want to make a bunch of pages. Maybe use some pretty paper or different colored cardstock, and then you can just slide your pages into the album after they're done. So you might get white cardstock in your pocket pages, or you might get a different color. So you'll want to watch for that. And then the other page that was 12 by 12 was the pocket style page. And again, these have the little hinges the little staples that will go into the hinge, and they're going to open and lay flat in your album just like that. So they come with the little sort of protectors or pieces of cardstock in the envelopes or the pockets themselves, so that you can, so it'll stay nice and firm, but you just slip your photos right inside. And that is about as fast as you can imagine. No glue, no adhesive even required. So this is another great option for you. If you already have a lot of photos and you just want to get them protected, maybe just have a couple of cards to tell the story. Okay, so I'm going to just take these photos out because we're going to be using them for our layout in a few minutes. And then the last 12 by 12 I want to show you is the Fast to Fab. So the Fast to Fab that I mentioned are great because they are already pre-decorated. The other benefit is that they're already in the album for you. So if you ordered a Fast to Fab album, when you open it up, it's already pre-loaded with all of the pages, and it's decorated, and all you have to do is add your photos. And again, you're going to see that so many of them are really multi-use. So I could put these photos here on this pre-decorated page. I could put them on the one with the more kind of coral color. It's just amazing how fast and easy your albums come together when you start to add your photos onto these pre-decorated pages. Okay, so those are kind of the basics of the 12 by 12 albums. And then we do have the smaller 8 by 8 albums. This is what I was showing you here. And again, we've got plain pages, black pages, etc., as well as the pocket pages that I showed you. And these are side loading. Okay, so that's a great option. Maybe you feel a little intimidated creating a full-size 12 by 12 page. So maybe you want to do a small book first. Maybe you want to create some small pages, or maybe you don't have that many photos that you need to get into an album right now. So the little 8x8s are perfect. And then the final little album that I was showing you was an 8x8 paper album. I mentioned that this one was an older style. And now, of course, I can't put my finger on the one that I wanted to show you. But when you go on to creativememories.com, here it is, sorry. Here it is tucked away in behind. This is one of our current albums called Silver and Gold. So you can see when you open it that it's just got some lovely sort of neutral designs. So many different photos are going to go in here. So again, even though I'm kind of working with some travel photos that I've showed you, they would look really nice in this paper album as well. So I can maybe put them something like this and then add a little bit of journaling. I can write directly on these pages, and there's only, I think, about eight different spreads to do, so it's perfect for a quick little album to document an event or even to give as a gift. So the paper albums or the 8x8 albums are smaller versions and things that you might want to consider for your first album. But we are going to jump right in, and we are going to make a 12 by 12 inch page today. Now, when you look at these two that I was showing you, you'll see that I arranged the photos in each of these pages pretty much exactly the same. I have two full-size photos. I didn't trim them or cut them or anything. And then I have two photos that I did trim down to 4 inches by 4 inches. So a standard photo is 4 inches by 6 inches, or if you're looking at a portrait style or vertical style, it's 4 inches by 6 inches here, horizontal 6 inches by 4 inches. So by just trimming that down, I can make a 4 by 4 square photo, and that's going to work really nicely. You can trim your photos to however big or small you want. If I wanted to just have, the couple here very, very tightly cropped, I could trim all the way down here and even take a little bit off the top. So it's however you want to do it. I really like the speed and ease of working with full-size photos. I just need to add them to my pages and I'm done. But again, how do you sort of determine where you want to put them, what kind of page you want to use, all of that sort of stuff. So this is where the magic of the internet comes in. And in particular, I would recommend, if you are watching on YouTube, you heard me mention that we also have people watching in the Creative Memories Virtual Crop Facebook group. So if you are not in that group, I highly recommend that you get into that group, and I will definitely make sure I post the link down below here. But you want to get into that group because there's always inspiration. You're always seeing different ideas that other people are sharing. Plus, there's lots of things that Creative Memories shares. And one of the things that we love to share are sketches. And sketches are really just a picture or a map of how you can arrange your particular photos and all of the other things like the decorated paper or the little embellishments, where you can write, etc. So each quarter we come out with a sketchbook, and you will need to talk to a CM advisor about getting your copy of a sketchbook. But on the Virtual Crop Facebook group, we also share lots of sketches. And one of the things we like to do is show examples of finished layouts, but then also show you how you can go back to basics and make it even simpler. So if you are a beginner, you're going to want to watch for beginner sketches. And then we've got sketches where we add a little bit more in, a little bit more intermediate. Then we have the more advanced sketches that add and use tools, all that kind of stuff. So we are actually going to use one of the beginner sketches from this quarter one sketchbook that came out in January. We're going to use this one right here. And you might look at this particular beautiful layout and you might say, oh, I don't have those tools. I don't know how big the pieces are. I don't think I could make that. But you know what? You can go back to this beginner sketch and you can very, very easily make this, because all it is the 12 by 12 page, one 12-inch by 1.5-inch strip, one 12 by 1-inch strip, and then a couple of embellishments and some journaling. These little lines indicate where you could journal, and your photos on the page. And heck, even if you don't want to cut out some paper, you can use this as an example of how to place your photos onto the page. So let's clear this off and let's talk about it. I've got a copy of the sketch here, and we're just going to kind of have that as a reference, those two things. And you have seen some of this beautiful collection before. We're going to talk next time more about how you pick collections, how you pick colors, etc. But we're going to use some papers from the Tropic Time. And I also have some stickers. And I really, really recommend stickers for beginner scrapbookers, because you don't need to do much to them. You can take them off their backing sheet. They've got sticky on the back. They're so easy. The biggest decision you need to make before you sort of make your first page is what you want to scrapbook on. So we talked about how you could scrapbook onto a piece of cardstock, 12-inch by 12-inch. This is white. You could use another color. You could scrapbook onto a 12 by 12-inch sheet of pattern paper. Now this is quite a subtle pattern. It almost reads kind of as just a pink sort of stripe. Or you could scrapbook directly onto those album pages that we were talking about that have the little staples and this jeeping. And of course, the other option is a Fast to Fab page. Okay. Now, when you're looking at the Fast to Fab pages, you might notice that some of the pages already have some of the same types of decorations or designs that you might be interested in. So remember, we were talking about how on this beginner sketch, we've got a strip at the top, we've got a strip at the bottom. Well, this particular Fast to Fab page has a strip at the top and a strip at the bottom. And it doesn't really matter how big those strips are. We've got dimensions right here, but it doesn't matter because it's going to give you the same look and feel. So remember what I said, no right or wrong way. So in this case, I could literally come in here with my photos, and this is kind of the arrangement of my photos here. So I could glue those down or adhere them down. I'm going to talk about the things you need in just a minute. But that would basically be the sketch. Then I could add a little bit of a title up here. Maybe I would take Beachy. Okay, so I could add the title up here. I could do my journaling. I could write right onto my page here. And then if I was feeling adventurous, I could also add some stickers. I don't have to have flower and leaf stickers or these shapes. It's just really a recommendation as to what you could put and where you should put them. So you know what? Maybe I'm going to take this sticker, because look at this. It's sort of like Fast to Fab. It's got a little bit of a decoration, plus it's got some words. So maybe that's going to be my title. And then maybe the word beachy is going to go down here. And then all I need is one other sort of little cluster. And oh, look at this. This is a beautiful cluster and it's all ready for me. So I could put that there or here. I could put my title up there, and then I can put that word beachy in the third place. Okay, and we're going to talk about elements and principles of design in another episode. But when you follow a sketch, you are pretty much guaranteed to have a great looking layout. So I'm just going to slip these back on here. And let's look at this on a plain page. All right. So again, here's my plain page, white cardstock or a base page. Same thing. I can put my photos exactly the same way. I could do my little bit of journaling. And here again, maybe I want to use something like Tropical Paradise. So I could put these stickers right like this, okay? I'm not going to actually, I'm holding on to them because if I do put them down, they're going to stick. So that's why I'm holding on to them with my fingers. And then maybe I'm going to use that beautiful sticker that I had, or maybe I'm going to add in a palm tree because there's some pretty fun palm trees in this picture. So maybe I'll put a palm tree down here. And then I could use that word, or maybe I'll use the word vacay. Let's see if I have enough fingers to do this. So here's my title. Here's one embellishment. Here's the other embellishment. So that looks great. That would be an absolutely fantastic layout with no patterned paper at all. All right, let's look at it if we did want to use some patterned paper and what we would need to actually put this layout together. Okay, so I'm going to use that kind of pinky colored paper from the Tropic Time paper pack, Tropic Time collection, as my base. And again, I'm going to follow kind of the placement of my photos according to the sketch. And I'm actually going to do some cutting. So I've got a couple of pieces of paper. Look, this one isn't even a full sheet of paper. I've used it for something else. So that's the great thing about once you start getting into some of your pattern papers, you can reuse them for multiple projects. You don't always need a full-size sheet to just cut a strip. So I like both of these. I kind of like the green one. It's kind of nice and simple, but this is such a pretty pattern. So maybe we'll cut one strip from each. I've got a strip at the top and I've got a strip at the bottom. So let's go ahead and cut one strip of each of them. Now, I could definitely use some scissors, right? I could just sort of measure. Maybe you've got a ruler and a pencil, and maybe I'm going to measure out a 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and then just draw a line, and then I can just cut out my strip. So you can get started with scrapbooking with some very basic tools. And I'm going to talk about this handy little kind of all-in-one little toolbox in just a minute. But another tool that you might want to consider if you've decided that you want to, learn how to scrapbook and create lots of scrapbook pages, the most basic the most basic tool that you would want to consider first is the trimmer, your paper trimmer. And this is called our 12-inch trimmer. And again, there's lots and lots of different features that we'll go over another time. But just know that this trimmer will make very, very quick work of cutting your 12-inch pieces of paper because it's big enough. Many paper trimmers that you might buy at a stationery store, maybe they only go to about 8.5, kind of the standard size piece of paper, or maybe 11. But if you want to cut scrapbook size papers, 12 by 12 inch papers, the 12-inch trimmer is a great thing. Now this one has a little straight blade, and I'm just going to show you that it's really safe. The little blade is in its own housing, and it only pops up when you press it down. I know you probably can't see that really well, but you can see that the blade kind of pops in and out of the little casing, and that happens when you push down on it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that 1.5 inch strip. You're going to see how easy it is. So I'm going to take the side of my paper. I'm going to look at the measurements up top here, and I see 1 inch, 2 inches, and in between, of course, is my 1/2 inch mark. So I'm going to go and put my paper at the 1.5 inch mark, and I'm going to put my top edge of my paper all the way up at this sort of top lip, because it is going to hold my paper nice and straight. It's going to help me get a nice straight cut. Okay, so there I've got my paper at 1.5 inches. I'm going to hold it with one hand, and I'm going to flip down this cutting track with the blade on it. And then you can see that it will just kind of roll back and forth on this track. When I press down and move the blade on the track, that's when I get the cut. So I'm going to move it all the way up to the top or the bottom, whichever you like to start. And then I'm going to press down and just slowly move it down the paper. Okay, and now I've got my 1.5-inch strip. Super, super easy. So let's do it the other way, because again, if you don't have any tools at home, but you want to get started right away, let's make our other strip, and it's just a 1-inch strip. So let's go ahead and just measure. Oh, we were going to do the other paper, weren't we? And you'll probably have already seen that the back side of the papers is often a different pattern. So because this is a dark paper, I'm going to flip it over so that one, I can see my pencil line, and two, I don't have to erase it. I'm going to be lazy. So I'm just going to mark the 1-inch there, and then I've got a 12-inch ruler. Just going to make it as nice and straight as I can. And I can go ahead and cut my 1-inch strip. Okay, now I'm using some scissors called microtip scissors. Again, you want to maybe have a special pair of scissors for your paper. You know, you don't want to necessarily use your kitchen scissors, but you can pretty much use any type of paper scissors. Again, I'm going to talk about this handy dandy little toolkit in just a minute. But there we go. So that's not too bad either. So now I have a 1-inch strip, and I think I might put that across the bottom of my page. Then I have this 1.5-inch strip that I'm going to put across the top. And then I can see, you know, maybe my photos were kind of down here. Maybe I want to put them up a little bit, or maybe I kind of have them like this. Again, it's totally up to you. Even though our sketch is showing them about like that, you can do whatever makes you happy. All right. So I'm going to follow the sketch just so you can kind of get that sense. But that's what my page is going to look like. So that wasn't too hard, was it? We cut 2 strips of paper. We've arranged our photos. So now, how do we stick this all down? Well, we're going to use some adhesive. And again, if you're a beginner, you might be tempted to go and grab your kid's glue stick. You might have seen a tape runner or a scrapbook adhesive at the dollar store. And if you buy nothing else that is specific for scrapbooking, I want you to buy some good adhesive, because first of all, it will help all of your pieces stick for longer, because believe me, through the years, I've tried a lot of different adhesives. And when I look back at some of my pages, some of them are coming apart. So sometimes a cheap adhesive will not hold for the long term. And worse, a cheap adhesive might actually help your photos age faster or damage them. So you want to make sure that you are using an archival, photo safe adhesive, and this one is a great one. It's my favorite. Of course, it's by Creative Memories, and it's called the Tape Runner. And the Tape Runner is great because it's just this little case, and then your refills look like this little sort of space age thing with a clock wheel or a gear on it. And you just pop the refill right onto those little pegs. See the holes there, and then the pegs. So you just pop that in, and you've got a cover on it, okay? And there is a little sort of guard or protector so that your adhesive doesn't stick to things when you put it away in your bag. And there's also this little wheel that was part of the refill cartridge. And if your tape runner isn't kind of coming out of the dispenser, you can use your finger to kind of advance it. And then the other thing you'll notice is there's 3 little ridges here, and that's where you're going to put your forefinger. So you might look at this and you might think, well, how do I use it? You're going to put your forefinger on the top of those little ridges and hold your thumb kind of right in the middle, kind of aim for that little center space. Make sure the guard is down, and then you're going to pull the adhesive towards you. Now, you only need a little bit. I promise you, you don't need to pull it down the whole length of the paper or the photo. We're just going to pull a little bit, and then we're going to twist our wrist so that just a little dab of adhesive, you can barely see it because it's very clear, but just that little dab of adhesive comes off. And I only need maybe 1 in each corner, and one in the middle to adhere my photo. So now that I've got that on there, I'm going to look at my page again. I'm going to place it down, kind of hold it and make sure it's where I want it, and then just kind of press it down. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the other photo. Now, if you have a lot of things that you want to add to your page, you're going to have to obviously start with the ones that are closest to the base page. But here I've got my photos down first. Now I'm going to take that strip, flip it over. I'm going to use the same adhesive. Our adhesive is great for photos, for embellishments, for paper, for cardstock. It's going to work for everything. And then I'm just going to kind of line up the edge of my strip and the edge of my paper and press it down. Well, that was easy. We got that one down. Let's do the other one. About 5 little pieces, little dabs as I call them, of adhesive. Same thing, I'm just going to look for the corner, kind of match the corner of the strip with the corner of the paper that I'm adhering it to, and it's down. So that's not going anywhere. And your scrapbook page, the base of your scrapbook page is pretty much complete. So let's take those stickers that I had out before and have a look. So I could do a beautiful title just like that. I think I'm going to place it up just a bit. You can see that the title, suggested title placement is kind of up by that strip. So I'm going to just put it up top here because this is quite a large title. And there's tropical, and then I'm not sure if I would have the P overlap or the P and the small P or the tall P, the capital P. But I like that. That's in a nice area, and I still have some room to do my journaling. But let's look, because of course we love all of these. Sorry, I dropped one. All of these pretty stickers. So here was one that we were looking at earlier. So easy. Look at that. It's got beautiful flowers and leaves, and all of these colors are the colors that are here. So what if I put that just down here? Let's put it kind of down in the same position that this sort of sketch indicates. So I'm just going to put it right there. I'm going to attach it. We're going to talk about a special way of attaching stickers another time. So I've got my title. Maybe I could add maybe just a little flower. That would be kind of cute. So I'm going to take just one little flower here, just for a little bit of color. Okay, and then I can add one more thing over here, and it's showing like 4 things. I don't want to necessarily add 4 things. I just want something there to, really make it look kind of fun. So I really like that that vacay. Okay, I could use the vacay. I could use beachy. There's other things. Life is an adventure with you. That might be a little big. Good life. That would be fun. Sun, sand, sun, and sea. That would be really nice too. Okay. I think I'm going to use this vacay because I just, I have that vacay feeling there. And I'm just going to put it kind of on the corner of this photo, just like it's showing right there. Okay. So there's my page pretty much done. Now, the only thing I have to do is to journal. And our Creative Memories pens, same idea as the adhesive. You want to use a pen that's going to last. You don't want to grab your Sharpie or a ballpoint pen. You want to use one that is, and I'm looking at an older version here, but you want to use one that is archival. So you're going to look for the little sign there that shows that it's photo safe. And again, you know that Creative Memories products are photo safe. We do all of the testing. We make sure of that. So I could take my pen here, and this is a great pen because it's got dual tips. So if I like a fatter look, I've got a bold end. If I like a fine look, I've got that fine tip end, which is usually what I write with. But maybe you're scared to write directly on your page. Well, again, that's where maybe a little ruler comes in. I could go ahead and just put a couple of little lines here. Okay, maybe I'm going to do 3 lines. And I can leave the pencil marks or I can erase them afterwards. And I can also take my pencil and just do my journaling first. So maybe I'm going to say, we had such a great vacation. We loved the food and the weather. Paradise. Okay. So I've got vacay and I've got paradise. So that's kind of what my page is all about. Now I can take my pen and I can just go over it. And it doesn't really matter if I don't match it up completely, but I kind of know what I'm going to write and I know where I'm going to write it. So we had such a great vacation. We loved the food and the weather. Paradise. Okay, so that's that. And then you're just going to need a little eraser. Let me grab one from my little toolbox over here. And you're just going to need an eraser, and you can go ahead and erase the pencil marks and the lines. And again, our pens are such great quality that you don't have to worry about them smearing. Okay, so I would take a little bit more time and make sure all of mine is done. But that's it. We've made our first page. Do you love it? You might love the idea of these large 12 by 12 pages, or you could take that same idea and put it onto a smaller page. Okay, so I promised that I would mention a couple things about the tools. So you saw that we used the little scissors. You saw that we used the adhesive runner. We call it a tape runner. You saw that we used a little pen. And then I didn't use them, but I mentioned that there's something fun that we can use to make our stickers or embellishments pop up off the page. And that is a foam square. And it's a special type of adhesive that you put on the back of a sticker or a die cut, and it pops it up. So all of those products, plus a little box to keep your photos in, would be a great thing to start with. And this happens to be the advisor welcome gift, the advisor welcome bundle. And some of you are thinking, well, I'm just starting out as a scrapbooker. I don't know what I'm doing. But if you like the idea of scrapbooking and you like the idea of Creative Memories products and the fact that they are archival, that they are well coordinated, that they are easy to use, you might want to consider becoming a CM advisor. You don't have to have any experience because there is a whole community of people that are ready and willing to help you. And you can learn along with everybody else, and you can create your pages, and you can learn about the products, about the sketches, about all of the different resources. So it is a great way to jump into scrapbooking. And I really want to sort of, again, debunk that myth that you have to be a scrapbook expert to be a CM advisor. So in fact, when you sign up to become a CM advisor, you're going to get your little welcome bundle, which has all of those things that you need. And you're also going to get a credit, which you could use to buy some of the other tools that you want to get started with, like your 12-inch trimmer. So between those things, maybe you don't want to buy an album right away. Maybe you buy some cardstock. Maybe you buy a pack of stickers and a package of patterned paper. And you're going to be able to get started and create pages like that. So I really want to encourage you to not think that it's only for experts. All right? Everybody is welcome, and our community of Creative Memories advisors is so amazing. They are willing to share their information, to teach you, to learn alongside with you. And we are a huge, huge community of scrapbook lovers, and that's really the only requirement to join. So I do encourage you to think about that. Don't worry about, not having any experience, okay? You have experience now. You've made your first scrapbook page, right? So you are an experienced scrapbooker now. So I'm just scanning my little notes here to make sure that I haven't really forgotten anything. We've really talked about a lot of things today. We covered a little bit about some different types of albums and different types of scrapbook pages. But again, the big thing to remember, there's no right or wrong way, and that your basic elements of a scrapbook page really just boil down to photos and writing. And then, of course, we can add all of the fun stuff and arrange them in pretty ways as well. So that's a great big part of this hobby. But photos and journaling, photos and the stories, photos and writing down those 5 W's or the information that goes along with it, that is the heart of scrapbooking. So you are in the right place if that is what you are thinking about. Okay, so now I'm going to give you some homework. I'm just looking here. Next time we get together for Scrapbook 101 will be Friday, May 26th, noon CT. So again, if you're watching this on YouTube, your first homework assignment is to make sure you go and join the Creative Memories Virtual Crop Facebook group. And again, I will put the link down below. So give me a couple minutes after we finish and I'll make sure the link is there for you. You're going to want to join in because over the course of the next month, there's going to be lots of sketches shared, lots of inspiration, lots of comments and questions that you can learn from. And then in the middle of May, I think it's May 12th or 13th, the date's not on the top of my head here, but in the middle of May, usually the second weekend of the month, we have what we call a virtual crop. And that's a chance for you to go and have a look at some new sketches, some fresh sketches. And this one in particular is going to be great for beginners because we're going to be focusing on fast to fab. So you're going to see a lot more of the fast to fab style pages. Remember the ones that were pre-decorated. So we're going to be talking all about that. So definitely that's your first homework assignment. Make sure you join the Creative Memories Virtual Crop Facebook group, okay? Your second bit of homework is to do a little bit of thinking, and this might involve looking at your phone or looking at some memory cards, going through some files on your computer, or even maybe gathering your photos that you've already have printed. And I want you to think about where you want to start, because next time we're going to be talking about how you choose a theme, how you choose paper, how you choose a color scheme, all of those kinds of things that will help put your scrapbook album together, your pages and then your album. So between now and then, I want you to kind of decide on what are some of the photos that you definitely want to get into a scrapbook, okay? So sign up for the Virtual Crop Facebook group and then dig out some photos, look at your photos on your digital devices, make sure you have some printed, think about where you want to start, okay? And as I said, don't be shy. We'd love to have you join our community. If you want to jump in with both feet and learn as you go from the best group of advisors and ladies and some gentlemen who love scrapbooking, then make sure you have a look at the creativememories.com website and click on the little join tab, and that will give you all of the information you need to know about getting started as a CM advisor. You do not need any experience, okay? I want to remind you of that. And then you can get your fun little toolbox as well as some product credits to buy some other things that you think you might want. Okay, so it's been a joy to share some time with you. I've loved going back to the basics. It's always a great refresher for all of us to really think about what is at the heart of scrapbooking and to be reminded that there is no wrong way to scrapbook. It is totally up to you, and we are here to help. All right, so enjoy your little bit of exploration over the next month. We'll probably see you in the Virtual Crop Facebook group, and I will see you back here Friday, May 26th at noon Central Time. All right, have a great month, and we will see you then. Bye for now.